Let me tell you, many INFJs who are just looking for love, just looking for positive attention, just looking for a potential partner are going to run into narcissists over and over again in their lives. And it's possible that you who are watching this right now may have this happen to you and maybe for the rest of your life. If you don't realize how these predators, because that's what they are, predators, manipulate and abuse INFJs. Now, I'm not trying to be clickbaity or controversial, but the reality is that if you are an INFJ, you either have or you will have a run-in with a narcissist and they could ruin your life. It nearly happened to me, and in fact, about a decade of my life was wasted on a narcissist. So what I think is happening is that we, as INFJs, don't have a lot of people who get us. And so we go around feeling misunderstood a lot. Then someone comes into our lives and it really looks like they get us. But unknowingly to us INFJs, sometimes that person is a narcissist. And why are INFJs particularly vulnerable to narcissists? Stay tuned to the end to find out. Now, the reason a narcissist can hook an INFJ, especially an INFJ who doesn't have any experience with narcissists, is because of something called love bombing. Now, this is the key to this video. Now, love bombing basically means overwhelming someone with outward signs of love and adoration. Now, in reality, the narcissist is putting on a mask and deceiving the other person. They do this by flattering them and pretending to love everything that they love. So if you like to work out, they like to work out. If your favorite restaurant is Chuck E. Cheese, their favorite restaurant is Chuck E. Cheese. Why is your favorite restaurant Chuck E. Cheese? So let's get a bit more in depth about the 3 stages of narcissistic abuse and how love bombing fits in with it. Phase 1, the idealization phase. Now, in this stage, the narcissist is doing everything they can for you. They might buy you gifts. They might build you up. They're basically looking for your weaknesses and trying to fill any gaps you might have. This is love bombing. In this phase, you may feel really special and you may think you finally found someone who really understands you. Already you can see where us INFJs might fall for these tactics, or really maybe I should say we would want to fall for these tactics. I think all INFJs see the early warning signs, but they just want so bad for this person to finally be the one person who understands them. Sadly, you may really start to like or love this person during this phase, and that means the narcissist has their hooks in you. And that brings us to phase 2. If this video is helping you, consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the INFJ Circle. Number 2, the devaluation phase. So the first phase gets you right where the narcissist really wants you. Then in the second phase, reality starts to set in. Here, the narcissist starts doing something called breadcrumbing. This means they start to leave little morsels for you, like in the fairy tale, Hansel and Gretel. They will only leave the morsels that they think you're worth at the moment. At this point, they're stringing you along. They're giving you bits of love to keep you hooked. Now, they're going to know that you're onto them a bit here, so they're going to start to use more abusive tactics. They will gaslight you. Merriam-Webster defines this as the act or practice of grossly misleading someone, especially for one's own advantage. For example, after they do something abusive and then later when you call them out on it, they may say,
"That never happened. I'm actually beginning to worry about your mind."
They'll start to use name-calling, scapegoating, stonewalling. They'll be passive-aggressive, and they will break promises. Now, there are even more abusive tactics than these, but they're a little bit beyond the scope of this video, so I'll let you look them up. Now, at this point, they can start to try and intimidate you, and they might even get physically violent as well. Now, remember, you are already smitten with them from the first phase, and you want that love and that adoration from the first phase back. I mean, you're hooked at this point. So you keep working hard to try and fix the narcissist, to fix the relationship, but it's not going to work. And that leads us to the third phase. Number 3, the discard phase. Now, this is where you've outlived your usefulness to the narcissist. Now, usually this is because you have figured out that they are not living up to their side of the relationship, and you try to set boundaries or confront them about their abuse. So they will either refuse to change, refuse to cooperate, or they will get out of the relationship and abandon it. Remember, they were just there to use you for whatever good you could do them. They were never really emotionally involved. And at least from the devaluation phase, they have probably been love bombing someone else. In other words, they've probably been unfaithful to you. I'd like also to say that narcissism and narcissistic abuse is not always from a potential romantic partner. This can also happen in friendships or in family relationships. But anyway, the reason they are devaluing you is because they're likely spending that love, spending that flattery on someone else. So why is the INFJ particularly vulnerable to the narcissist? Well, INFJs are really optimists. I know we're kind of dark and we're prone to depression, but we have hope even in that darkness. And we have a lot of hope in people. We want people to succeed and we want to see them better themselves. We really believe that they can do it, and we believe that we can be the ones to help them. And that's because all of that is true. We are great coaches. We are great counselors, but ain't nobody changing a narcissist. So when the narcissist starts to devalue the INFJ, we think, hey, we can still save this thing, and we start to work extra hard, but it never works. It's like trying to put a Band-Aid on the hull of the Titanic. Another thing to remember is that as an INFJ, you have extroverted feeling or the ability to sense other people's emotional states. In fact, your ability to sense others' emotions is sometimes more powerful than your ability to sense your own emotions. Now, this is a powerful gift, but it can really backfire when the INFJ meets a narcissist. Because INFJs are generally very just people with good values, and they look for the same values in others, the narcissist has an upper hand on an INFJ who doesn't know anything about narcissism. You see, the narcissist works during the idealization or love bombing stage, the first stage, by mirroring the other person's emotions and values. And that makes the other person think that they have a ton in common with the narcissist. And in the case of the INFJ, you can see just how powerful this is. The INFJ, as we stated earlier, generally can't find anyone who shares their values and interests. They crave this intensely, and they've been looking for it their entire lives. Then, all of a sudden, they find this person who shares their values and interests. It's amazing. It's almost a miracle, except it's not.
It's a narcissist.
And what you're really doing is you're falling in love with your own values, your own interests, mirrored back to you by the narcissist. Yuck. Kind of reminds me of Medusa. So how do we protect ourselves against this? Well, first of all, remember the old adage, anything that seems too good to be true likely is. If someone seems to have all of your interests and values, then your alarm bells should start ringing. Really examine people like this and don't get too close to them too fast. And here are a few other warning signs. Narcissists always want to be around you. They demand your attention and your company. Narcissists get mad and jealous if you go out with a friend or go out with family. Narcissists won't take no for an answer. Narcissists may show you too much love or affection too fast. Now, there are many more, but these will get you started. Now, someone asked the question online, how do all narcissists know to do the cycle of idealization or love bomb, then devalue, and then discard? Do they have some kind of narcissist playbook or something? And a guy responded with something that I thought was genius. He said, it's not that they know the cycle, they are the cycle. Pretty scary. Now, if you're farther along and you think you might already be in a relationship with a narcissist, here's an easy way to tell. Set a few boundaries with them in regard to their misbehaviors. Tell the person about what's bothering you and see if they understand. And if they are willing to adapt, to change, and to work with you on the relationship. Now, if they refuse to make any changes, and especially if they throw a fit or they try to gaslight you, they are a narcissist, and it's time to consider getting out of that relationship. I know that sounds harsh, but professionals agree. You're just not going to be able to change that person's behavior, and the relationship is likely to get worse. Now, remember, it's not your fault. It's happened to me, and it's happened to a lot of other INFJs. I'd like to ask a favor of those in the INFJ circle that if you have experience with a narcissist, please share your stories in the comments below so that if someone is watching this and they need confirmation or help, they can get it from you all and learn from your experiences. INFJs are great at reading other people. It's almost like a superpower. But sometimes they have trouble reading and trusting themselves. They may even doubt they're an INFJ. If you've ever wondered if you're really an INFJ, consider watching this video next.